Hello, I'm Tony Guida. This is My New York. If there were a Nobel Prize for distinguished writing about food, my guest would have retired that award long ago. She is Mimi Sheridan, the wise and witty doyenne of all things dining, who made her bones as the first female restaurant critic of the New York Times. Mimi just turned 90, and the royalty of the food world came out to celebrate that birthday milestone. You are about to be charmed, surprised, educated, enlightened, and entertained by Mimi Sheridan. Next. How delighted I am to welcome Mimi Sheridan to our program. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here. Not sure that the birthday count is accurate. It's a little incredible to me, but I'm grateful.
Mazel tov and Baruch Hashem.
Thank you very much.
There was a wonderful party for you at Tribeca Grill. Put us in that room.
Well, it was a marvelous party. My son and daughter-in-law arranged it, and it was not a surprise party, but they had an enormous surprise for me when I got there, because the marvelous Drew Niepoint, who owns Tribeca Grill and many other restaurants, contacted a number of chefs who he knew were among my favorites, and each one had a table at the hors d'oeuvre reception with the specialty of the restaurant.
Oh, wonderful.
Shun Lee did Peking duck. Rayos, of all, did meatballs. Valse did a marvelous sturgeon with caviar. North End Grill did what they knew was one of my favorite bistro dishes, pigeon au petit pois, squabs with peas.
Okay.
Barbaloo sent a marvelous snail and spätzle dish. Gotham Bar was there, and the amazing thing was what all the chefs wanted were the meatballs from Rayos, because they felt that was as close as they were ever going to get.
To being in that restaurant.
And the loveliest surprise is that Frank Pellegrino, the owner, was there.
Well,
so that was a tribute.
We have some pictures, including one of you talking with Frankie. It's just marvelous. It made me hungry with the recitation of what was being served there.
Yeah.
I wish I'd been there myself to wish you a very happy birthday.
91.
Yeah?
You'll come to the 91st.
Okay, that's a deal. That's a deal. We'll have you back here first, then together we'll go to the party.
Yeah, it got to be the people ate so many of the appetizers, and then Drew had planned a wonderful, wonderful meal with dishes from Tribeca Grill and his restaurant Batard and Nobu. So it was just eating all the way, which I feel is the right kind of tribute.
Exactly. I saw in one frame of one of the pictures Calvin Trillin, Bud Trillin, who is of course a great has written about food and is a gourmand, of the people, I suppose.
Yeah, he's a friend and neighbor. We're both in the West Village, not too far apart.
You know what I would really like to ask him, and perhaps you know, so much of what Bud does is tongue-in-cheek and beautifully humorous. He has for years had this campaign about replacing America's traditional Thanksgiving meal, which he doesn't like turkey. He's had this campaign to replace it with spaghetti carbonara. And I'd like to ask him, how's it going?
Maybe someone will stuff a turkey with spaghetti carbonara, the way things are being created these days. So.
Well, you write about spaghetti carbonara in your book, your most recent book, which is 1,000 Foods to Eat Before You Die. And we're going to get to this later. I want to start here with some of the things that are on your mind currently. Mimi tweets, as you're so modern, and so we can see what she's doing and thinking about. And so let's go through some of that. You wrote about Burger King, which has now introduced grilled hot dogs.
Wonderful move for New Yorkers anyway, who I think really do and should prefer hot dogs to hamburgers.
And I've always wanted my hot dogs grilled. I like
I
that.
do too.
You know, I like that taste and
The
texture.
crackle.
Yeah, the crackle and the lines and so you're in favor.
Absolutely. But if I can't get them grilled, I eat them boiled.
There are some plenty of places to get hot dogs in this city. Not many very good.
I get them at Katz's.
Yeah.
When I'm down there, I buy a supply and put them in the freezer for snowy days and emergencies.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned Katz's because one of the other things you talked about in your tweets is being at the reopening of the Carnegie.
Yeah.
How did that go, and what do you think that they're back? And
Well, I'm delighted that they're back. It was a very special place for me because many years ago at the Times, I did a search for the best pastrami and corned beef in
Yes.
New York, and there were many more delis then. This was just in Manhattan. And one day, my husband and I got in the car. He was driving me around to pick up all the samples. We had 104 sandwiches in the car. We were almost asphyxiated.
104. Well,
104.
anybody who knows Mimi and knows her writing and has followed her career knows how exhaustive and her research is. So you were going to rate pastrami.
Pastrami
And you got
corned beef.
and corned beef, and you got 104 sandwiches.
Sandwiches. I did that. I had 2 of each kind from each place. And the idea at that point, because I already knew those I liked best, but I wanted to see how much meat they were putting in each sandwich. So I took the meat out of each sandwich, put it in a marked bag of where it came from, took it to my butcher who had a city certified scale.
Wow.
And had each one weighed. So, because what they say may not always be what they do. And the Carnegie won, and it was
One in terms of
the best pastrami and corned beef, which at that point they made right downstairs in the restaurant. They still make their own, but I believe it's at a plant they bought in Secaucus. But at that time, they made their own right on the premises, and it was really wonderful. It still is very good. And the city went mad. The city went crazy. You couldn't get near the place, including the editor of the New York Times, the famous Abe Rosenthal, who went and announced who he was. And he came to my desk the next day and said, you know, I've won Pulitzers, I've had all kinds of accolades, but to be given a cloth napkin at the Carnegie Deli was the highest award I ever. And Leo Steiner, who was one of the partners, was such a colorful man, and Milty Parker, his partner, whose daughter now owns it. And so it's very special to me. And the opening was 8:30 in the morning, and they sent a car for me. And I was there, and Mayor Bill de Blasio was there, and we were seated together with the wonderful Italian actor, who I'm sure you know, Dominic Chianese.
Sure.
He was, so the 3 of us.
Big on The Sopranos,
Right.
among other things.
Eating pickles and pastrami at 8 o'clock in the morning. And referring to the party for me last Sunday, the mayor called Drew in the morning and said, I know you're having this party. Would it be all right if I stopped in? And he was wonderful and generous and gracious, and it just made it so special to have him come in and say a few words. So I appreciated that very much.
Of course. On the subject of pastrami and the Carnegie, and you mentioned Katz's, how do you rate those two? I mean, they seem to be the ones that...
There are 3 you would have to talk about in New York if you're rating. Katz's is the biggest experience. You know, the place is crazy and wild, and it's a treat in itself. They're not always careful with the cutting of the pastrami. You often get gristle, and they don't use good bread. I've had this talk with Jake Dell, who owns it, and he's just not going to pay for Orwash's bread, he said. However, on the Upper East Side, the Pastrami Queen has probably the best all-around quality. It's a very small place. They're very careful. They use Orwash's seeded rye bread, and it's beautiful, beautiful meat. The Carnegie is also very good, and it has the advantage of being in a great New York neighborhood,
Sure.
right in the theater district.
50th
so,
visit.
you know, you feel New York all around you, and the food is delicious, and the cheesecake is great. So I would have to say those three are.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned
Run
the
the
pastrami.
gamut.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned pastrami, Queen. That's in my neighborhood, so
Yes.
I'm gonna get over there a little more often.
Yeah.
I had occasion in recent years to be in the Seventh Avenue neighborhood for a card game I used to attend in the afternoon, and it was in the afternoon, 3 to maybe 6, and I'd walk past Carnegie. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and the line was
Yes.
still out there. I mean, it's a huge tourist attraction,
Absolutely.
as is Katz's.
Yeah.
And I imagine, as you say, Katz's is that it's kind of a show going on in there.
It's a wonderful show. It's
It is.
sort of like the United Nations.
It is sort of like the United Nations, yeah. The recent takedown of Per Se by the New York Times.
Yes.
You wrote about that and
Yes.
wondered an interesting and rather obvious question. Tell us.
Why did it get 2 stars if it
Right.
was so terrible? I don't doubt Pete Wells. I haven't been there for years. I've never had a bad meal in a Thomas Keller restaurant, but things can happen. But I was amazed that it got 2 stars because the New York Times legend says very good for 2 stars. And I thought, what was very good about this restaurant?
Well, that was the same question that I had. I mean, he was as severe, I think, as a restaurant critic can be about a 4-star, what was a 4-star
Right.
restaurant. And then at the end, you see it's 2 stars, and say, well, what's
Yeah.
going on here?
I don't mind him being severe. At $3.50 to $4.50 a dinner, you can be damn severe. But as you say, I think maybe he didn't have the courage to give it no stars. It takes a lot of gall.
Well, it would.
Do it.
I mean,
I
especially-
would have done it in a minute. I have a lot of gall.
That's among the things that has been said about you, and not always in a pleasant way, but
Right. I cherish that.
I know you do. Yeah, it's. I haven't been at Per Se in a long time, and I'm not so sure I have the patience for. I mean, the food is wonderful, or was. But 3 hours, 3.5 hours, and to be told that the butter comes from a cow named, Elsie up in, New Hampshire, so I don't think I need to know that.
I think it's a dated format, and I think there are still people doing it and enjoying it, so it's okay. But I do think it's a little old hat to do that kind of meal. It always served my purpose because I got to taste a lot of things, because I was there to write about it. So
Right.
the more I saw, the better. But my husband and I were at the French Laundry once. We had
Thomas Keller.
maybe an 8 o'clock reservation. At midnight, we were getting dessert, and we were getting so sleepy. But the French Laundry has a marvelous advantage over Per Se, and that's its setting. I mean, you're in Napa, everything smells of eucalyptus and wine, and you're in a relaxed mood, sort of vacationing, even if you were, as I was, working. And it was a very different feeling, although I thought the food was identical. But the aura was so much more beneficent at the French Laundry than Per Se overlooking Columbus Circle.
In a very antiseptic, almost modern setting.
Very harsher
Harsher setting.
urban setting,
Let's talk about Danny Meyer and no tipping, which he has introduced and is gradually moving into all of his restaurants, and there are many in this city. What do you think of that?
Well, what I think of Danny Meyer couldn't be better or more admiring. I think he's absolutely the prince of restaurants. He's impeccable. I am not in favor of his no tipping policy. However, I live with it wherever I go if I'm abroad.
Of course, it's
So, I mean, it's standard in Europe. I don't remember Asia, China.
well, Japan. It's almost unheard of in Japan, tipping.
So I do it without thinking about it then. Here, I reassess it because it's a new idea here, and I'm uncomfortable with it.
What makes you uncomfortable? Why don't you
Because,
support it?
because of the practice having been in effect for so long. I think the staff recognizes what the customer feels, and that is a tip is a reward for good service. And if you don't give me good service, you're not going to get any tip or not a very big tip. So in a sense, it was our weapon against the staff. And I hate to give that up. I don't think I've ever walked out without not tipping, but the amount of the tip or whatever, and everyone has lived with that for a long time and seems to have gotten along. Now, Eric Repair at Bernardin is not going to do it. He's going to keep the tipping, says he announced. So I think we'll have to see how it comes down. It causes some problems. I understand that it's causing problems in the sale of wine because it makes the bottles more expensive, and they're already very expensive. And the fact that, well, you don't have to tip after it, you know, you think of how much money you're going to have to spend at the moment you have to spend it. So it suddenly looks like really a lot of money at the table, and you don't factor in that it's going to be less at the end. What does worry me is that there will be a practice of leaving something a little extra.
Yeah.
Now, that happens in Europe a lot with change on the table, but these days everybody uses credit cards, so you know, unless they're laundering money, which is not unheard of in fancy restaurants. So, you know, there may be someone slips a waiter or a captain another $10, and then we'll be right back to where we started, only we'll be tipping twice.
You were effusive in a recent tweet about a relatively new restaurant in New York called Upland. I think you called it the best new restaurant of the decade.
I think I said of the year. Did
Oh,
I say
perhaps
the decade? Maybe I don't remember, but I wouldn't go with that as much as
I was surprised, but I
a
mean,
recent year, because I think they opened last year.
right.
And when you speak of spaghetti fettuccine, their spaghetti with bottarga is unforgettable. It's one of the greatest dishes. I can't get past it when I go there. It's that good. Bottarga being the dried mullet fish roe.
Fish roe, yes.
And it's marvelous as a...
Upland is, I don't know, what would you describe? It's American.
It's got a lot of Italian emphasis, American. I would call it a wood oven restaurant. Lots of beautifully roasted things, lamb shoulder, porchetta, vegetables. There are very good pastas, a lot of fancy vegetable dishes. They do a great ciocchino, the San Francisco Italian fish soup stew. They do it very, very well there. It's a mess to eat, but that's another issue.
You were also rhapsodic about some meals you've had at Nomad.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
haven't been there in a while. But
That's fairly, is it
oh,
still
no,
fairly,
no, I was thinking 11 Madison. Yes, I was at Nomad 2 weeks ago.
and it's still fairly formal, is it?
Not really. You sit on low sort of sofa chairs, and it's got a very young crowd. You'll see everything from blazers and neckties to shirts and no jackets. It's very young, and it gets younger as the evening progresses. And there's a huge bar room outside where you can also eat the best fried chicken and burgers. So it's a great place. Another new one that I love, and I have tweeted about it, is Lupulo on 29th
Portuguese.
and 6th Avenue, and marvelous food by George Mendes. Bacalhau dishes are superb, and the pork and the clams, and so I'm very high on that right now.
Portuguese food. You were a little miffed, I guess I could say, that the New York Times, quote unquote, discovered recently Senegalese food in this city, something you had done years ago.
Well, it's in my book. One of the things in 1,000 Foods to Eat Before You Die is my prediction that the next big influence in fusion cooking will come from West Africa and Ethiopia. And it occurred to me when I was at the restaurant in Harlem, Africa Kine, that the food, although it was exotic, it looked familiar. And I realized it looked like Louisiana cooking. Which was
Sort
not
of
sort of
Cajun?
gumbo-ish, jambalaya-ish, you know, that kind of mix, rice and spice and many things. And then I realized that of course it did, because the slaves from West Africa were the ones who went to Louisiana and did the cooking and brought the okra, which they called gumbo. So that influence has been in that part of the country for a long time. And the colorfulness of the food, the abundant use of vegetables, which is very big now, and fish and so on, makes me think that in the right presentation, this could be very popular. And in fact, about 7, 8, maybe 10 years ago now, Marcus Samuelson opened a crossover restaurant in the meatpacking district called Mercato. And it was wonderful. I took so many people so many times, but the people he was working with would rather have turned it into a nightclub, and that's what they did. And I wish he would do it again, because it was fusion African and altogether delightful.
I hope you're enjoying this tour of food in New York and the world with Mimi Sheridan. And it reminds me that I was remiss at the beginning of the program, remiss in telling you, the viewer, that Mimi has graciously agreed to come back next week. So this is just part one of a two-part conversation, and I'm delighted by that fact. So let's go on with some of your tweets. You've often talked about and eaten at a place that's a favorite of mine and has been for many years, Sandro's. Because Sandro, one of the reasons, Sandro Fioriti is just a wonderful bear of a man, and a Roman chef, and he's, you can't get a bad meal in a Sandro restaurant, and you often have a really wonderful evening. How recently have you been there? Have you seen him?
Yes, I
He wasn't well.
I was there about 3 weeks ago, and it was as wonderful as ever. I mean, he's right out of Fellini.
Yes, he is.
Not only being huge, but wearing those little printed cotton pants that are long, like
sweat
pajamas.
yeah.
They look like pajama bottom.
With cartoon.
And so he's back.
images.
He had double knee replacements, both knees at once,
Wow.
which is very, very rough, especially his size. But he's back now. And his bacala and all the Roman dishes, the cacio e pepe, the grisha, he makes one called grisha, and even his invention, the lemon pasta, though I rarely have it because I love the others so much. But it's very, very, his porchetta. And when they're in season, the baby eels, they're so fine they look like Capelli d'Angeli, and they're done with garlic and oil, and they're just marvelous. I usually ask his wife Anna to call me when they're in season, and then I go up there. So
You've spoken in the past, and I'd like to hear your thoughts again on what has been known or been called locavore. You know, that kind of dining and eating. I mean, which essentially boils down to eating the stuff that's in your
closest to you,
area. What do you make of that trend? And is it still a trend, or is it diminishing?
I think it's a talking trend. Certain parts of it make sense. We all know if we're going to buy corn, we want the corn from the closest place. But if you're really going to be a locavore, does that mean living in New York you can't have pineapple? So I think it's an impractical kind of thing. And how local is local? Thomas Keller has long had a battle because he was criticized for serving Maine lobster in the Napa Valley. But he says that's local. It's in the United States. It's as close as I can get to Maine lobster. And he believes his job is, and I agree with him, to present the very best he can to his audience, wherever it comes from.
Is this something?
I share that.
Yeah. Is this something that we can trace back to Alice Walker in
Alice Waters?
Alice Waters.
Yes, I think that group, but of course that group lives in California, where the farms go all year round practically.
The restaurant, of course, in Berkeley.
Yeah, but I would say 2/3 of what I buy is local, and in summer maybe more because I shop at all the green markets. However, if I can get peaches from Georgia, and I do send for them once a year so I can retain the memory of the taste, or white grapefruit from the Indian River in Florida. I order those once a year from Hale Groves. Those to me are benchmarks. There's no peach that grows locally meaning it would qualify for a local green market that's nearly as good as a Georgia Freestone.
And tomatoes. I mean, I think, and maybe I certainly don't have the worldview that you do, or you know, in July, August, you can't get a better tomato than a beautiful fruit from New Jersey.
Right. And so that's local and you're eating the best. And in summer, as I say, I buy almost all the vegetables at the green market. But if I want lemons or oranges, obviously, I have to go someplace else for them. But that, and our local corn is wonderful, and we have some great melons. But that doesn't mean you can't have caviar from Russia.
I've heard you refer to the locavore issue, if you will, as in some ways messianic.
That's what I hate, messianic, moralistic, that if you don't tap into this, you're somehow not a good person. and that I resent. It goes along with organic, natural, which I understand the FDA wants to banish as a term on fruits and vegetables.
Really?
That's been on the news the last couple of days because there's no real definition of what natural means, and it can convince a customer to buy something because it's natural, and that has no meaning. So they want to wipe it out as a designation. But it is that moralistic tone that I resent, and I think locavores should stay home. I don't think they should travel any farther than they can do so on their own energy, because they fly here from California to talk to us and leave big carbon footprints in the sky. And unless they can roller skate here or bike or ride a horse or sail, they should stay home.
You've heard it, locavores, from Mimi Sheridan. Finally, among your tweets, you were talking about rising food costs and how you think they endanger neighborhood places, yeah. mid-price restaurants. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, rising food costs, and in New York especially rising rent costs. We have in my neighborhood in the West Village a group of very good, what you would call neighborhood restaurants. Nice food, a little bit interesting, but not wildly creative. A place you can go to 2 or 3 nights a week and get something great to eat. However, if their prices soar to a certain level, you suddenly look and say, what, I'm paying $40 for a meal at this place around the corner? And, you know, it's not a great famous meal. Nobody's writing about it. And I think that becomes a very hard sell. There are several specific restaurants in my neighborhood I worry about just because of that every once in a while now I look at the check and say, gee, I'm paying that here. And what else can they do? Milk has gone up, meat has gone up, the rent has gone up, and they don't have the ability or the talent to do anything at the level of many more expensive so-called gourmet restaurants. They can't match that level. They can do very good basic things. So I think they're going to have, and I know they are already having, pretty hard times, which would be an enormous loss because then chains would move in.
Well, there is so much more to talk about, including this book by Mimi, 1,000 Foods to Eat Before You Die, and it's almost 1,000 pages. Which is why I'm so glad you've decided to come back and be with us next week, and I look forward to it.
Well, my pleasure. I do too. Thank you, Tony.
We'll see you with Mimi Sheridan next week.